Hello, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I am sitting here by myself. I am so used to the comfort of being accompanied by my husband. But today, guys, I'm by myself. So, thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned. As you have seen on the topic, we are talking car buying, car finance loans, the commitment, and we're talking of why I lost my car. Yes, guys, it is hard, it is heartbreaking, it is disappointing. I had a lovely, 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 beautiful car. I had a Mercedes SUV, and it's gone. It's gone, guys, it's gone. So let's start talking buying cars. So I am not new to car finances. From day one, the car that I ever owned was a car finance purchase. So my first car was a Mazda 2. I loved it. It was flying all over the place. I think it was a 1 liter or a 1.2 liters. Very, very handy, very affordable. I think I was paying, I honestly can't remember, but I think it was maybe, let's say, 320 euros a month, the car finance. So I remember I was still a student at the time, but I was working, and I walked into a car dealership. I said, I would like that car. I honestly wasn't even looking for the Mazda 2. I was just looking for a car. And I really didn't think I'd get it. So firstly, because I am a student. Secondly, because my income wasn't, I thought anyway, wasn't that great. So I just walked in. I said, let me just try. It was I had a 2-hour lunch break, and I said, what can I do at this time? So I walked in there, and maybe 2 hours later, I got a phone call from the dealership. They said, congratulations, you have been approved for the car finance, so you may come in tomorrow and pick up your car, sign the forms and pick up your car. I was going, wow, this is delightful. So I got that car. I kept it for 5 years, and the second car was a Nissan Qashqai, much bigger, much higher, and the car finance probably was around 360 euros. Yeah. And it was a 5-year finance as well. I also didn't intend to get a Nissan Qashqai, but I knew my 5 years was up for the Mazda 2, and it was starting to give me minor problems. And I don't like fixing cars, firstly because I'm a woman, and if I walk into a garage, I don't know what to tell them, I don't know what to say to them, and they may charge me more than what it really costs to repair the problem. So I'd rather, and I hate if you're living in the Republic of Ireland or the UK, I think they call it MOT. Here we call it NCT. I hate the NCT process. So I would rather just have a new car and not have to worry about those things. When it reaches 5 years, I think the first time you take your car for NCT is when it's 4 years old. So I only take it once, and then I just sell it, or I trade in, So yeah, I like to keep my cars for a maximum of 5 years. So now moving on to my third car. So I thought, look, I had a Mazda 2, I had a Nissan Qashqai. Now I have to go better, which is naturally what we all do or think of, or maybe most of us do. You want to see your life going forward, you want to upgrade, you're growing in your career, you're financially better off, and you think, okay, so I better, I can afford it, so I'll take it. So that's exactly what I did. So I went and took a Mercedes GLB 180, a Mercedes SUV. It was beautiful. If I can, I'll throw it up here, and you can see it. It was gorgeous. I loved it. So, and I could afford it. So I thought, okay, fine, why not? So I took my car. So, okay, before I finish my story, let's just generally talk about purchasing a car. So when you are buying a car on finance, so we're talking of finance purchases here, guys. Sorry, my nose ring keeps popping off. And you might think, can't it? This is snot. No, it's the, it's the nose ring. Okay, so back on track. So when you're buying a car, what you do is you walk into a dealership, you point a car. Most people do know what they want. Some people like me, you don't really know what you want. Like I knew I just want something classy, I want something nice, I want something brand new, because all those cars that I have bought were all like 1 year old. Yeah, so I purchased them when they were not brand new. They would be like 1 year old at least. So I was like, it's high time I spoil myself and get a brand new car. So anyway, so what you do is you walk into a dealership, you look around, you may walk around 2, 3, 4, but if you're like me, I don't like shopping generally, whether it's for cars or it's for clothes, but I had actually shopped online. So I had looked at a lot of things. What I knew was that I wanted a classic car and I wanted a certain range of price. So when I was looking online, that's what I was looking for, just a classic car and the range of money that I was settling for, that I felt I could afford. So I had picked that Mercedes-Benz GLB 180. So anyhow, so when you walk in there, you see those lovely, beautiful cars and there's a price on it and you say, okay, that is it. So say in my instance, I knew my cap was 45 to 55,000 euros is what I felt I could afford. So that's what I was searching for online, and I was really looking for either Audi, Mercedes, BMW. I think those were just and Range Rover. I was definitely looking at Range Rovers as well. So I picked that Mercedes-Benz. It was nice. But let's not get lost into the conversation. So you have walked into a dealership, you look at the prices. So for example, if I'm looking at 45,000 euro cars, I see it and it's written 45,000, I pick it. Now remember, when you walk in and you tell the salesperson, look, I'm in a position to spend 45,000, they will look at cars that will cost you 45,000 or maybe up to 50, and they can say, oh, look, we have this one for 50,000, we'll give you a deal, we'll take 2,000 euro off, da 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 da. And that's what you're thinking. But there's more to it. There's processing fees, there's interest, there is, once you take that car, then you have a responsibility of insuring the car, you have a responsibility of paying road tax on the car, and then you have fuel. So you have to be conscious of what engine size are you taking, what distances are you traveling to work, what is it going to cost you. So if the car finance, for instance, is going to cost you 500 euros a month, then you have to say, okay, if the insurance is going to be 100 euros a month, if the road tax is going to be 500 euros a year, if the fuel is going to cost me 80 euros a week, can I still afford it? Sometimes we don't think that way. We just think, I want a car, it's 40,000, it's going to cost me 400 euros a month, I'm going to take it. Right? So I think that's the first mistake that we make when we're buying cars. And then the second thing is, when you go to the dealership, what they ask for is your bank statement and your pay slips. So what they look is, okay, Clio is earning 500 euros a week, which is 2,000 euros a month, say after tax. So 500 euros a month is what this car is going to cost her. That means she can afford it. So they will just give me that car. But it may not necessarily mean that I can afford it. Because the ratings or the system they use to calculate my affordability, it does not necessarily that in my own private circumstances I can afford it, because remember, their calculations are generalized. But I may have a mother and father that I'm giving 200 euros every month in Africa. I may have my sister's child that I'm paying fees for. I have my own children in the household. You have rent or you have mortgage. They don't really dwell into all those other, businesses, private businesses of yours. They just look at what you earn, what you have in your savings, and they say, okay, fine, we're happy to give you. Because they know anytime you fail to afford, they can take it back. Okay. And they don't anticipate for the future. They don't anticipate that Cleo may lose her job, or Cleo may change her job and her circumstances may change. She may start earning less, or she may I don't know, get married and divide her tax credits with her husband in the next year. That means her take home becomes less. There's a lot that they don't really consider, that you then have to personally sit back before you actually sign that paper and say, if my circumstances were to change, can I still afford it? If the recession was to hit, can I still afford it? If I take this car, will I have to cut my parents' assistance funds from $200 to $100, which is very unfair, because if you think of it, is you driving a Porsche car or a nice car or a new car or a bigger car, is it really warranting, or does it outweigh your parents' health or well-being, that you need to cut off? Because then you may end up having to cut off somewhere. If like me, you love traveling, you like staying in hotels, does driving this nice car worth giving up staying in hotels? There's a lot to think about. So before you go and sign that finance paper, do sit down, consider a lot of all your other circumstances before you actually go ahead and purchase. Now, the other thing to remind you is that the price on the floor is not what you're going to pay in terms of a finance deal. So I've already said I was looking for a car so I'll just be honest, my car cost me 50,000 euros. It does not mean that it's going to be the cost of the car, because over the 5 years that I signed up for, which I have said I've always signed up for 5-year contracts. You can get 3 years, I'm sure you can get less, but I just like my 5 years, because I know in those 5 years my car is going to be reliable, it's not going to give me trouble, I'm not going to be in and out of NCT centers, so I'm comfortable with 5 years. But if their interest is 3,000 euros a year, that means at the end of 5 years you have paid 65,000. So if my aim was to afford 50,000 by the end of 5 years, that means I have to buy maybe a car of 35,000, not of 50,000. So do consider that in the long run, in the whole term of your payment, how much are you willing to spend on that car? So it's not just, just for today, when you're going to be paying it for 5 years. So just be mindful of that. Okay. Now, let's get to my situation. How did I lose my car? Why did I lose my car? Am I happy to have lost my car? Okay, so I, of course, had a happy, I don't know, if I don't want to call it sad, but I had a lovely, happy, but it changed my circumstances. I had a lovely surprise that changed my circumstances. That's the best way to put it. So I had an unexpected pregnancy. I thought we were done having babies. I thought God had closed the gates. I wasn't doing anything about it, but I had come to terms that, God is done with me. God is done with blessing me with babies. But boom, God says, no, your time is not my time. Then I was like, woo, okay, now things are going to be changing. We're going to have childcare. We're going to have diapers. We're going to have milk. Things are changing. And then the next thing, of course, my son is in his last year of primary school, and I want the best for him. And we got him a private school for secondary school, and it is going to cost thousands and thousands and thousands. And it's not only the fees. You have the uniforms, you have the school trips, you have, if you're living in the Republic of Ireland, every month, every second week, there's a letter, asking for your contribution, asking for a voluntary this, asking for, it never ends. You have lunches, you have clothes, boys' clothes are very expensive. And unfortunately, maybe we have spoiled our children. They want labels. So I sat down and I said, look, can I afford the car? And the answer is yes. And then the next question is it going to cause a strain in my financial being? Am I still going to be able to have savings after paying for the car, paying for the fees, paying for the childcare? And the answer was maybe, or maybe very little. And then the next question is am I willing to be financially strained or stressed because I'm driving my lovely Mercedes-Benz SUV? And the answer was no, girl, I am not. I want to have a peace of mind. I still want to be able to go sleep in hotels when I want. I still want to go on holidays when I want. And I still want to spoil my children and have them happy. So then essentially my answer was, Cleo, the car is not the answer. Well, I am still going to have the car. That's the other thing. I made a decision that I am just reducing the cost of the car. I am still going to get, so I essentially traded back my SUV and got a Mercedes A-Class. So I have managed my finances. I have cut down, if I can, I'll put down the new Mercedes-Benz here. The inside is exactly the same. It is comfortable, but the truth is, yes, you can feel the difference. And the truth is, yes, I am much lower. I love the bigger car. I'm even lower than in the Qashqai, but I am still happy. My family is happy. I'm still spoiling them. I'm still spoiling myself. I'm still saving. I'm still going to be able to invest in the future. And to me, that was the best decision that I made. So, guys, all I am saying is don't buy your car because of a status. Don't buy a car because, oh, Mina, I am here in Ireland for 5 years and this person is here for 1 year and they also got driving what no. And don't do it because, oh, I am a doctor. I am going to drive a Range Rover and, oh, I can't have, I don't know, a cleaner driving a better car than me. No, everyone has their own life circumstances. Everyone has their priorities. If your priority is building a house, build your house. If your priority, of course, is driving a Range Rover, please go ahead. Don't let someone interpret your life. Don't let someone detect how you spend your money. It's your money, it's your way. But be mindful that it doesn't strain you, it doesn't stress you, it doesn't leave you unable to live a much more fulfilling life, happy life, because you're stressing about the monthly repayments. And always be mindful of the interest. Shop around. If the garage says, oh, we have a financial institution, say, no, I'll speak to my bank. Just tell me how much you're approving me. I'll go and apply for a car loan in my bank or in my credit union to save yourself interest. So guys, I hope I haven't waffled off or wumbled off. So essentially, I am telling you about the impact of car finances, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think I've been through it all so far. And yes, in the future, when I finish with my investments, when I am comfortable with going back to my SUV, indeed I will. And I might go bigger. I might get my Range Rover, which is my, I love it. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying just make sure it's the right time, right space, and it doesn't strain you. So guys, thank you so much for listening, and do please press that subscribe button, comment down below, tell us what you're driving, tell us what you gave up, tell us what you're looking at in the near future, and please be interactive. If you like the video, please do press that thumbs up button. It helps us spread wider. It gives more views on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube platform. So please do keep engaging and press that like button, and do share and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you soon again. Take care of yourselves and of each other.